Before the video starts, just for a quick bit of context, this student is a Silver Jacks player that wanted to focus pretty much exclusively on the first four levels. So that's what's occurring in this session. We're just doing multiple VODs going through just that bit.
Like, if they're invading, should I go with them?
If you agree with the invade.
Oh, I don't know whether I'd agree or not. I don't know how to make a good decision on that.
Okay. So that'll be the first thing we kind of dissect then. Okay. So to decide on if an invader is good or not, generally you just think about who has better level 1, and that's usually determined by who has the most CC, or at least the most, or the strongest, like, one ability. For example, Blitzcrank, if he lands a hook, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill, or at least a flash. So that's why most of the time if you have a Blitzcrank, they're going to invade. Same thing if you have, like, a Nautilus or anything with a hook, Pike. But let's say the enemy team had Morgana that could just throw out a Q and then also pretty much guarantee a kill. Then it'd be something you'd have to consider, but in this case they don't really have that. A lot of their champions don't have CC level 1, or at least if they do, it's very short range, like Lulu's.
Mm-hmm.
And since you have this really long one that pulls the ball all the way back, and it's really safe to use, then that makes your 1v1, or level 1, the most likely to work.
Alright.
Yeah, as in Blitzcrank does pretty much that. He goes in, yoinks them, and then it's a kill.
Yeah, okay. Actually, yeah, that makes way more sense than I was expecting.
Okay. We're here in lane. You've not missed any minions yet. Okay. So the first thing to determine once you go into every matchup is at what point you think you're stronger, what points you think you're weaker, and then playing accordingly. So who do you think is stronger? Let's say the first 3 waves. And even if you're wrong, that's fine. We just want to have what you think is stronger.
I think it's Jax because of his E.
Mm-hmm.
One has his, I think that's his Q, which
Correct.
doesn't do that much.
Yep. And your E also reduces AoE damage, so if you use it when he's throwing the Q, it would reduce the damage a little bit as well. But yeah, in general, you do more damage than Orin early because you have your passive that you can use as well. You have... Okay, you didn't take Dorn's, or not Dorn's, crop name, but either way, you're stronger than him, and so because you think you're stronger than him, you should be looking to try to play for level 2 first. So let's see if you're doing that. Like right now, you're just letting him auto you for free. Got your grasp as well. But you're building up your passive, so this is still okay. And again, you're half HP and you still haven't used your E.
But I've kind of used it at, like, what, 3/4 health?
You would have used it... Let's go back. On the very first auto attack you tried to do.
The very first one.
Uh-huh. So he throws the Q out. You walk up, you start trying to auto him. If he looks to auto you, then you use your E, and you dodge it.
And then do I start trying to trade back?
You back out once you stun him. Because the minions aren't hitting you either while your E's running. So you could get 2 to 3 auto attacks, stun, and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have him at 3/4 HP, if not lower. And then you would be still almost full HP. Another reason is he has the Keystone Grasp. Are you familiar with it?
Is it like occasionally he does a bit more damage and permanently increases HP.
Yeah. Yep. So if you're in game, what you can do is you can click on him and it shows you that it's active.
Mhm.
And even if you didn't see it, you could just kind of assume it by how much he's been hitting minions. And so you don't want to give him that free auto attack because that one's going to hurt a lot due to the grasp. That's an extra reason why you want to dodge it with the E.
Okay.
So you're just getting
Yeah, I guess
beaten
at this
up.
point I was sort of like I was scared of being too aggressive because he had more minions than me.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter if he has 1,000 minions. They're not going to hit you anyway because of your E.
Yeah, I guess so.
Especially if you do it properly. It's like when you go for a trade. So right now, the minions can't hit you because you have your little dodge. And then if you fight him into the wave, you didn't really do it here, but at the end of your trade, what you can do is stun the minions as well. So even when you're walking away, they can't hit you.
Right.
Now you hit level 2. You can still definitely beat him up.
Mhm.
So why do you think I'm saying you can beat him up? Especially, where is it? Now. Any idea?
Is it because he's used his Q or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, he burned the Q and it didn't hit you. So now he only has one ability. In this case, he took the W. Uh, so you can just walk up and start hitting him. Again, you would start your E. You would auto, W, auto. Do you know why you do that sequence in particular?
For the auto reset.
Yep. And so at the end of this trade, you should have 3 stacks on your passive. You have 1, 2, and then you back away because you didn't even use your W. You just autoed them a couple times.
Yeah, I've noticed it's kind of a theme when I use my E. I'm never like too confident, so I'm kind of like I never sort of like actually attack when I'm using my E. I'm too scared.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jax is not the greatest champion to be playing scared on.
Mhm.
Because he pretty much has to fight on his limits to gain value. Yeah, then you die there. Now the first part is just not walking to where he can hit you with the Q, because you don't have to kill the minion yet. What you could do is just... So you're gonna go back. There we go. What you could do is just wait for it to get lower and then kill it. Not this one, but the next minions. Like these, you can just kind of chill while they're high HP and then let them go through these minions. But regardless, once you see him throw the Q and you see him do his W there, you just, oh, you don't have E, 0.6. Never mind. So then instead of Eing, you would just Q here on the minion, or you go to ward hop alternatively, just to avoid that E.
Right.
Um,
I suppose like I had my E just before he charged into me, which might have saved me from his auto at the end.
yeah, you could do that too. Okay, this should be a kill, so let's see what happens here. Let's see if you're able to analyze this any differently now that you're not in the game. How do you think you should go approach killing him?
Um, I'd probably Q auto
Well, hold on.
WE
You don't have Q
auto.
yet. You're level 2
Oh, I
right
don't have
now.
Q. Okay.
Right. Off of one minion death, you will hit level 3, and that's what happened. You hit it in the middle of the fight. But you don't have Q to start with, which is good because I don't want you to Q to begin anyway.
No.
The reason you don't need a Q is because look what he's doing. He's walking into you. You want a Q whenever you need to catch them or get onto them, but if they're walking into you, you can hold on to it until later.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a hint. This is where you should be going in.
Right. So I just start smacking him.
Yeah, but again, how do you order your abilities? Like, what's the sequence of how you do it? Any ideas?
I mean, auto W auto. I'd probably want to hit E either before he autos me or
Right, you want to
once
E him before
finish.
this auto. Especially because this is his brittle auto because he just put his W thing on you. So it's going to do a lot of damage and knock you back. So yeah, you want to E this, and then do the auto W auto. Midway through the combo, your E will hit this minion, you auto it once, hit level 3, and then you can Q onto him.
Also, I don't even need to wait to hit 3.
Nope. Nope.
Mhm.
But notice, if he were to continue fighting you, what you did would have been correct of holding the E here, but you gotta also consider, like, once he starts his dash, you just gotta stun. Right. Here. As soon as you see him start this animation that he's gonna dash out, that's when you gotta stun. And it would also kill
Okay.
this minion. Yeah, now, although you hit level 3, it still isn't terrible. You should still kill here. Yeah. It's just you ended up having to burn Flash because you didn't get the stun off. Still not
Mhm.
bad. This matchup can often be tricky for Jax players. Because the way it works is the lower elo the game, or at least the lower elo both players are, the more favorable it is for Garen. The better the Jax is, the less the Garen can do. So
Right.
it's like, in theory, you beat Garen, but uh, your margin of error is very low. If you screw up, then it doesn't really turn back after that.
Yeah, because I don't know. With Ignite Garens, like, they get me half health and then they can just kill me,
Yeah.
which really sucks.
So, same thing as with the Ornvod. Who do you think is strong in the first few waves?
Um, I guess it depends what Garen starts. If he starts Q,
Nope.
definitely Jax.
Does not depend on what he starts.
Does it not?
Nope. And also, if it did, you would assume they take the one that makes them stronger.
Okay.
Because it makes no sense to assume they're going to take a weaker option.
Mhm. Because I think it'll probably be Garen, just because of his E. Like, he just pops it whenever Jax pops his E.
Yeah, so he'll try to do that. But the thing is, for one, your E reduces his E damage by 25%. Um, and also, if the trade is very short, then you do more damage because of your E popping, and then doing the damage. So, like, let me do an example. Let's see if, especially because you've already got your passive built up. Actually, no, you lost it. But because what you want to do is you walk up, you okay, and he started Q, so you're really chilling. But you would auto attack him, then start your E, and just keep autoing a bunch with your passive, and you end up winning the trade.
Even if he's just eating the whole way
Yeah,
through.
yeah. Especially because um, you're gonna end up getting control over the wave 2 afterwards because you've done a bunch of damage to the minions with your stun, and he's tanking your minions because he can't stun them or dodge their auto attacks. Now this, yeah, you could have just absolutely ran him over. So something you really need to work on is looking at your XP bar. For example, you need 2 minions right now. Um, and then seeing, wait, where did you get XP from? How did you hit level 2 off the first wave? Did you kill a ward?
I don't remember doing that actually. Maybe
Let's
maybe I
see.
did.
You killed a Shaco box. Ah, that's how.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Because notice it gave you that tiny little bit of XP there.
All right.
Yeah. The same thing happens if you kill a ward. You can hit level 2 off the first wave, which is massive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you're looking at your XP bar, you could realize that. See how close you are there, and then if you recognize that, then when he goes in for this trade, you start with the auto E, and then your E will kill the minions in the middle of the fight. You can level 2 and just beat them up. But when you back away, then you lose your level 2 advantage here. And let's say you didn't think you would hit level 2 off this minion, then the trade doesn't make sense either because your priority should be on hitting level 2 and then trading, not trading with level 1 ability and then not having it up as soon as you hit level 2. Because then you just can't do
Right.
anything.
Okay. Yeah.
You're playing very aggressively for someone without an E. But wait, how's he still not hit level 2? What is this dude doing? He's just not hitting minions at all. All he has to do is hit that. Wait. You know what? Never mind. Oh, wait, there's still 4 minions from the original wave. Never mind, okay. Okay, crash this wave. Kinda. Crash it eventually. Okay, so you crashed. What should you do now?
I guess I should back. Unless I should go down there.
Yeah. So what you should do is, before recalling, look at the map, see if anything's going on, and then you can decide. Now, let me do this. Okay. I didn't have it on your vision. So, like, as of right now, you're thinking to back, which is fine. But then as soon as you see this, then your mind should change from backing to walking down. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. I think I did it too late.
Because it looks like you did it just really, really late.
Mm.
All right. I know I went through that quickly, but what was the mistake when you came back to lane? You know?
Um. Was it that I knew Shaco could be nearby?
That was part of it, yeah. So let's go back.
Um.
When you come in here, which
Oh, Baron has a
way,
huge wave.
there's a huge wave, which way is the wave going to push in the future?
towards me.
Yeah. So, do you want it to continue doing that, or are you wanting to push into the Garen?
Oh, I probably want to let it come back towards me.
Yes. Now, here's why. Um, so Jax really, really likes having the wave here, because if it's here and the opponent has a slightly bigger wave, you can permanently have your passive stacks high because you always have minions to hit. If you push this wave, you may briefly have the passive stacks, but then when you have to back away, you lose them. And that's what's going to happen here. You have your stacks, and then Garen goes on to you, and then, yeah, the Shaco shows up. But the main thing is just that you don't have as much room to build up your passive stacks, and if you start a fight here, you can either A, back away to your turret easily, or you can chase a really far way. But if you start a fight here, it's easy for Garen to get away, or, as I said, he has plenty of room to work with to chase you.
Mm-hmm.
And this recall is good because you have to. Super low health and mana. However, well, first off, I'll ask this. What's going to happen with this wave?
Um, is it gonna freeze?
Yes, it will. So I'll go
Okay.
back a little bit. So right now you would think, okay, a little bit earlier, when you're in base, coming out of it, and this is also kind of a waste, because what you can do is you can teleport while you're still gaining your mana, and so that would save some time. Like you could start the teleport when you're about here. But anyway, you can see like what's happening with the wave. The wave's being pushed into you, especially when Garen does this. And you can determine that the wave is going to be on your side. You can TP and stop him from crashing. However, for whatever reason, he decided not to crash when you didn't TP. But this is good, and then all you do is hold this here. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. This is your ideal position because you can maintain your passive stacks easily, which gives you really good fighting potential, and you have room to chase Garen if you want. You also pretty much can't get ganked. The only way you can get ganked is if Garen baits you into a trade and Shaco's in this brush.
Right.
But even then, it's still pretty easy to get out because as long as you don't burn your Q, you can just top away to one of your minions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to when Garen shows up. So right now, you're level 6, he's level 6, you're basically full HP. So who wins a very long fight when you're both full HP level 6?
Um, mm, the fact that you said very long fight makes me want to think Jax.
Yeah,
Um, but doesn't Garen have like a huge power spike at 6?
he does. But you do as well.
Like,
So here's
Is
the
that,
thing.
do I have to like engage with ult?
You use ult as soon as he commits.
Okay.
So like you would build up your passive. Ideally, you would have at least 6 stacks right now before you go in. You keep hitting the minions. You don't want to back off. He walks into you and threatens to trade, then you take it. So basically, what you would do is you would look to auto him or W him, and then as soon as you see that Q animation, then you E. You don't E before then because you don't have to, and then you just keep autoing him. But what I'm saying is the only way he's killing you with a combo is if he gets you to like here before you start the fight. If you start the fight full, the problem is he's not going to be able to reach that threshold for his ult, and all of his abilities are on cooldown. When both of you have all of your abilities on cooldown, you win because one, your ult's still running, but also your passive stacks give you crazy high attack speed. His auto attacks won't really do that much.
I guess I have lethal tempo as well.
Yeah. So you do a ton of damage even without the abilities. So he wins, and like what he wants is very short trades until he can get you low enough to where he just kills you from whatever HP you're at with all his abilities. What you want is to be full HP and don't allow him to get any short trades. You force him into either no trades at all or very, very long trades.
Right.
And again, it's super important that you have your passive built up first. So like right now, even though you didn't have your passive stacks, you could have still taken this trade because he queued. So he autos, this is fine. He walks up, the sword's going to light up. And then he goes into his little leap. You've got to be ready to react there. If you E and block that Q damage, he's screwed.
Okay.
He would just die because you'd run your corrupting pot. You'd have your E to dodge it. You'd use your W, stun him, do all that good stuff with your ultimate. And then you'll win this really hard. But because you didn't block the Q and you were silenced, took a bunch of damage, it's pretty dicey. Yeah. You should live. Oh, never mind. You weren't looking.
Yeah, no, I think I was in the shop at that time.
Yeah. Okay. And then the rest doesn't matter because this is way past level 4. Okay. I'm guessing you do this every game. Don't start your E just on autopilot.
Okay.
Because there are some times where starting E would not be correct. For example, you remember when you invaded with the Blitzcrank?
Yeah.
Sometimes there may be a situation where someone's slightly going to get away, but you can just reach them with your Q. And then you'd want to level your Q there.
Okay.
So the basic principle is don't level an ability until you actually need to use it.
Is a kill like if I'm in that situation, like I get a kill with my Q
Yeah.
and then I go to lane, do I
Yep.
have to play kind of like safe-ish?
Depending on the matchup, yeah, you'd have to play it a little bit differently. But do keep in mind that if you get the first blood gold, you're still coming back with, let's say, a longsword. So you're still pretty strong once you hit level 2. It's just, yeah, for that first level, you might have to play a little differently. Okay. Same thing as the other times. Who's stronger? First few waves.
I think it's Mordekaiser.
Okay. Why?
Just because I can't dodge his Q, and it does like a decent amount of damage.
All right, well, first off, it can be dodged, but
Well, not with my E.
yeah, okay, that's what you meant by dodge. Yeah. It does reduce part of the damage, but yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, doesn't negate it. Are you aware that his Q does more damage when it hits only one person or one target?
Yes.
Okay. So an easy way to avoid that is just fighting inside your minions.
Yeah, I don't think I was like it definitely wasn't at the top of my head during this game.
Yeah, super important against Morgan. Like right now, that the damage isn't that high because he hit a minion too.
Mhm.
And so once you see that, what you can do, you can actually like when you see him walking inside your minions, you can just walk up and fight him with your E because he's doing less damage because he's hitting a minion, or yeah, these 3 minions,
Mhm.
and then he's also going to do less damage because of the 25% reduction on your E. So you'll win this trade really hard. As long as you don't take it so long to where he has his passive built up. You'll have to back out for them.
Okay.
But that's okay
Is the passive
because,
3 like damaging abilities and attacks?
yeah, and so he wouldn't be able to build it easily anyway because your E dodges auto attacks. So he would have his Q, and then he wouldn't be able to do it. So right, he can't build his passive regardless. But if you were to let him have his passive, then he could start to beat you. Oh, see right there, you just let him get a Q and auto for free. Think of every auto attack on a minion as an opportunity for the opponent to trade. When you're going for
Mhm.
auto attacks, like right now, the initial auto attack you didn't have to do, but now you have to do the auto attack because you got this minion to where it's about to die. But think of it as you know he's going to Q here. And then you
Yeah.
decide either A, you're okay with the Q landing, and you take the minion, you maybe even fight him, or you'd rather drop the minion and maintain your HP and then you back off. But one of the two should occur. What I shouldn't see is you get the minion, then you walk into him,
Mhm.
take an auto, and you don't even fight him at all. There needs to be
Yeah.
a reason that you're going for these fights. Like right now, if you fight him currently, you want to wait for his when he's going for this minion, and then when he starts to try to hit this minion, then you can trade because he can't trade back.
Mhm.
Yeah, he actually missed that minion, so that was good. Okay, you hit level 2 off the next minion, but he hit it first. Oh. When you click to move, let me make this bigger. So let's say you like want to move back. You click like here, or if you want to move forward, you click here. Does this look about right?
Yeah.
Because what I want to see is I'm not doing this fast. I'm kind of leaning back in my chair. But the point is like your cursor needs to be very close to your character when you're moving. Um,
Okay.
so the importance of this is because let's say that you want to go this way, and so normally you'd like click here or here or something like that. But then you need to dodge an ability like a Mordekaiser E, and so you need to move your cursor to behind you. Well, not only are you coming from here to here in theory, but since the way you move, it would actually be like here. You're moving this whole distance for your cursor just to dodge that ability. Whereas if you're doing it properly, you're only going from here to here, which takes way less time. And you have a lot more control over this, or dang it, this, than doing this. So that's
Right.
how you get hit by the
Yeah.
Morty, because you're. If I can get in slow motion to like show how it looks. So where the E is, you're walking up. You start walking down, then you walk up again because again, your cursor movement isn't fast enough or
Mhm.
precise enough. And then yeah, you just oh, we're on a run for it.
I can't actually remember what happens here. I think I've probably done it. Yeah.
Splashes.
Was it bad that I didn't crash that wave all the way?
Yeah. Yeah, my bad. I kind of spaced out there. Yeah, you should clear that.
Mhm. Like, I think the reason I recalled them was because I wasn't sure I'd have the time. Like, what do I do in that kind of situation?
As in, you think Mord's gonna get back there?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have a really big minion wave anyway. Built this up, and then as long as you clear the casters, he's not gonna be able to fight you in this wave. But in the case where you think that you're so weak that you can't crash, then what you did would be correct.
Okay.
Kind of the same scenario. Now, though, he's trying to force the crash. Yeah, this is post level 4. I'm kind of
Oh, with
separating
the
this one because this one takes a lot more effort than the other ones.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, with that, what do I do if I'm kind of like there's a lot of like enemy minions around me, and it's kind of difficult for me to click around without just attacking one?
Uh, I mean, like, if you're worried about misclicking a minion, then yeah, you would click a little wider out. There is also a button called Champion Only Key to where you can't auto attack a minion. It won't let you. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, generally you just click a little further out. It's not that big of a deal in that instance.
All right. Simple enough.
But yeah, the champion only key though, it is important to be able to do, especially if you're doing like a tower dive, because that way you can't auto the turret when they try to hide behind it.
Oh, that's how you deal with it.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. It's on a weird key. It's called tilde key. Um
Oh yeah.
so most
That's pretty
people move it
powerful.
to a different one. Like for me it's on my C key, I think. Um but yeah, it is worth playing around with a little bit.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't like at the moment. I think by default C is like it lets you see your auto attack range.
I want to say
I
it's the
think.
thing that shows you the like runes, your stats page, like down here. I could
Yeah, I
be
think it
wrong
does
on
that at the
that.
same time. I
Yeah,
think it does both of those at the same
maybe
time,
it does. I
which I
don't
guess
remember.
I don't really need that.
Yeah, just whatever setting that you don't mind either dropping or moving, something like that, then you can figure out what you want to do with that key if tilde key is really awkward for you.
Yeah, yeah. Is what's it called? Attack, click, move. Is that useful?
Yeah, it's also useful. Yep.
Okay, because I've not been using that.
So the principle of that is like attack move. Don't get me wrong, I use it a lot. It's really important on ADCs though. But I guess Jax, yeah, would benefit a lot too. If you have really high attack speed, you're gonna get more value out of it than if you're a champion that doesn't have a high attack speed. Um, so basically, like when you're fighting someone and you're trying to move backwards, but you want to keep fighting them as they're chasing you,
Mhm.
the idea is let me see if I can get you like in the middle of the lane. We'll do this. We will make a black circle and pretend this is Jax. Okay. So let's say you wanna click back because you want to move away, but you also want to auto attack them. So you'll hit the auto or attack move click key because it doesn't have to be precisely on their character. It goes to whatever's the closest to your cursor. So if the enemy is here, and then you move your cursor to like, I don't know, here. You hit A, you auto attack them, and then you click back here again. One, you don't have to move your cursor as much, but also you don't have to worry about being super accurate with this click. As long as there aren't a million minions in between. If there are minions, then you got to be careful about it. Because as I said, it goes to whatever is closest to your cursor, but it doesn't have to be precisely on it like your regular right click.
Okay. Oh, that's how ADCs kite.
Yeah, they use that all the
I
time.
yeah, okay, fair enough. I always thought they were like just really good with their mouse.
No, I mean they are, but not like that.
Hmm. Right,
They'd
yeah,
have
it
to
makes
have crazy
sense.
high sensitivity to do that kind of thing. Like how you both shared the same brain cell here. Okay. Um. So in the other VOD we looked at, you stood here at the start of the game, which was good. And so I was expecting you to stand here, because that's the blue side equivalent. Then you didn't.
Mhm.
Stood here. Uh. So why are you here?
Um, this yeah, it's because I was expecting the Scion to kind of hide in the brush and then use his Q.
Okay.
I don't know if that happens in like higher elo, but like it's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, like sometimes they'll walk in here, and then when the wave comes in, they'll queue the three minions. Yeah. But here's the problem. Let's say they invade your blue buff.
Mhm.
Map's dark.
Yeah.
You're gonna have no clue if they do. So that's why I'd rather you be here, and then if they come through, you'll know. Otherwise, once you realize that they can't be on the blue buff, then you can go back and you can lane, and then all you have to do when you're farming is stay on this side of the lane so the Q can't hit you.
All right. If I'm standing in that brush in the river,
Mm-hmm.
uh I wouldn't see them going in like the lower path to blue, would I?
Correct, which is good that you brought that up. So you won't see them this way. And
Mm.
in theory, what's supposed to happen is Warwick's supposed to cover this area. Um, or at least Diana, somebody. But they didn't. So you are correct that you wouldn't see them if they come the other way, but I would rather you have one area blocked than no area blocked.
Could I stand in the middle?
You could do that. Like you're saying, like you kind of run back and forth here.
I mean, just like between the two paths, like the rock bit, just kind of stand there.
Uh,
Like that kind of that bit of terrain just above blue buff, the part where that meets the river.
like this rock.
Yeah, yeah. So just where on the where that rock meets the river,
Yeah.
like where there's like that crack in the rock, just kind of like stand in that part. Just stand, yeah, just stand right there.
Well, if you're like right here, you won't. Maybe. I mean, you'd have to be careful about the fog of war right against the wall. But in theory, yeah, you could do something like that if you just like kind of move in and out a little bit.
Mm.
Um, but then it's like it's a lot easier to get caught that way because they can see you as you're moving when they're coming through here. So like, yeah, you can do that, but I guess that's okay. It's not really a great solution, admittedly, when the jungler isn't covering what they're supposed to cover. Okay, so back to this. Who's stronger?
I think Jax.
Yep, indeed. Especially when his Q is on cooldown. And why this man has Ghost and Exhaust, I have no idea. That makes this way easier. Oh, how do you level your abilities?
Um, I think by default I go EWQ.
Let me rephrase that. What do you hit on? Do you click on the screen or do you hit on your keyboard to level the ability?
Oh, I do control and then
Okay,
whatever
good.
key.
Good. At least do that. Okay. So let's think in the mind of the enemy jungler. I know you play top lane, so this is kind of weird territory for you. But let's play in the mind of the jungler. Especially this is a Master Yi, but it'll be for most junglers. When they're wanting to come top after killing this red buff, it's gonna kill this. We are the Master Yi. What way do we want to path through to get to you to try to kill you?
Mm, would you go like Raptors?
Like where he is
Uh,
right now, what is the fastest way to get to you?
the fastest way would that be like through Tribrush and then like under the rock?
Right, right. So this is what the enemy jungler is going to be thinking majority of the time, right? At this point.
Mhm.
So what we need when we're this far up, like right here, we would rather have the ward in this brush than in this brush because this is the one they're coming through first.
Right.
And so you'd see them the earliest. If you have the ward here, you're not going to see them until they're like here. And they're already kind of behind you.
Yeah.
Now this could change if the enemy jungler had a reason to be here. So let's say this is at a different time and it's like, I don't know, 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Well, first I'll ask this. Do you know when Scuttle spawns?
No.
Okay. So Scuttle spawns at 3 minutes, 30 seconds. It used to be 3 minutes, 15 seconds, and then in preseason they changed it.
Okay.
So this is a very important timer to know because any jungler that started bot is generally going to be there trying to fight over to 330, and so you can expect them to be roughly in this area at around 320, 325. So at that point, this ward becomes more relevant because they're likely going to be in this area. But not before then, because they're not going to go into an empty river for no reason.
Right. Yeah.
Now, technically, you can argue that if this isn't a Master Yi, and let's say it's something with a dash like a Nidalee or a Graves, they could do this, then go through here to throw you off. But that would be heavily overthinking it for the purpose of warding in silver.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely.
Like, if you don't know to ward this, they're not going to know that, oh, he thinks I'm going to go through here, so I'm going to go around. Like, that's way too far to be
Yeah.
necessary for the time being. And yeah, so he did exactly what you were talking about, and then you do see him either way, just a little bit later, and then you back off, so that's good. Warwick does a wee bit. Oh, Warwick, brother, you're butchering this. You probably still win it though, so it's okay. Oh, Warwick. Okay. Hey, Warwick did so many things wrong there. Anyway, so we see the Yi. He backs away, and it looks. Did you realize that the Yi ward? It doesn't look like you
Um.
pinged it.
Oh, actually, yeah. I don't have the vision ping set. I really need to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so I can add that on here. Vision ping. Because yeah, I think it's not in settings by default. I think you have to actually add it in. It's kind of annoying.
Mhm.
For me, I use Control 6, but whatever works for you. It is pretty important though, because then you'll have that tracker on it. You know, I'm talking about the little indicator that says when it's going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how you get that, is you ping it, and it also gives you 5 gold for pinging it. So that's nice too.
Okay.
But now if you don't ping it, probably in about 20 seconds, you're going to forget this ward is there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Admittedly, that's how the game should be, but Riot Games made it even easier, so whatever.
Oh, I shouldn't be stepping up there, right?
You can, as long as you start with E. Because you let him get off his grasp auto attack there. But again, Jax is one of those champions where he doesn't really care if there's a lot of minions because he dodges them anyway. As long as you keep the trade very short, then it's fine. And you would also get the cannon minion off the E stun, so that is worthy.
Right, okay.
Yep, and then you do that, you back away, you get the cannon, it's all good. It doesn't apply in this situation, but another thing to think about with Jax, especially right now, because you don't have a ward up. So if you don't have a ward, what do you need in order to be able to Q away from your opponent if things get bad?
I guess a minion wave coming up.
Uh-huh. So yeah, you also want to take into account how close the minions are when you take a trade. As I said, it's not always going to apply, but it is good to think about, because if you know a minion wave is close, then you can be a little bit more reckless because you still have a get out of jail free card in a way for the minion wave. But if you fight right after they come in, again, it can still be fine, but you just have to keep in mind that you're not going to have the minion to jump to.
Yeah.
Oh, you got popped. Goodness.
Yeah. I had lack of object permanence, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back through this real quick. Up to this point, like, it's kind of fine. And you showed up. Let it push back into you. As long as you just kind of farm near your turret, you're all good. But then you got poked a bunch, and yeah. So at this point, you would just recall TP, and it's still salvageable.
Right, okay, yeah.
But yeah,
Is Jax like a champion where I can be playing aggressive early?
You can play aggressive early on any champion if you have the right matchup.
Right.
But yeah, there are a lot of matchups where Jax can fight early. Because it was passive and E. No. Alright, actually I can look at that fight real quick. Let's see. Oh, he canceled an auto.
Oh yeah, I did. I suppose I could have used flash.
Yeah, you would flash there. You couldn't go back in though, because he would Q you, even if you used your E. Actually,
If I
wait.
dodged
His
flash?
mana is low enough. You could actually do it. Oh, wait, he has 45 mana cost on his Q? I take that back. I am wrong. That is really low mana cost. Oh, yeah, but I think you were asking a question when I was talking. What were you asking?
Oh yeah, if I flashed his Q, would I have won?
So you're saying that Q?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
because of the shield. Wait. Oh, did he shield after? But yeah. Because you would flash. Admittedly, it would be closer, and you'd have to be very precise in your flash not to get in the turret range. But yeah, you could get off your auto W, but he is going to use his W to get the shield. He's got his cookies, so it wouldn't kill, but it would be close.